Welcome back to the post-bariatric surgery diet webinar. Now we're going to talk about protein supplements. So we've been talking about the importance of protein throughout this entire webinar. And in the beginning, because not only is your new pouch very small, but you have a lot of inflammation. And so it's in the beginning, you're just not eating very much. So you're going to get somewhere between, depending on your food choices, between 20 and 30 grams of protein from food. And so the other half of it has to come from protein supplements. So you're going to be doing a minimum of 40 grams of a supplement every single day after, once you bring in the protein supplements after surgery. So when you're looking for protein supplements, we have some baseline guidelines that you want to follow. And that's that's what's on this page. So when you're looking, even though you need 60 to 80 or 80 to 100 grams of protein a day, your protein supplement, you want to have between 20 and 40 grams per day. No less than 20, because one protein shake is honestly going to take you 2 to 4 hours to get down after surgery in the beginning. So if it's anything less than 20, you're just not going to get in enough protein for the day. And the reason we cap it at 40 grams is so for the sleeve and gastric bypass patients, you guys can get severe constipation, even end up impacted and back in the hospital. And so what I've noticed when I talk to people that end up back in the hospital or have very severe constipation, almost always I've noticed a pattern that they're doing like 60 grams of protein a day. And so this is not a hard and true number. I just have found for most patients, as long as you keep your protein supplements 40 grams or under, you tend to be okay. So you want your protein supplements or protein shakes to be between 20 and 40 grams per item. You want the sugars to be less than 5. And then in the beginning, the first few months, you want your fiber, because remember, we already talked about fiber. Fiber expands. It causes you to eat and drink less. And so in the beginning, you can't afford that. So you want your fiber to be under 5 grams per item. And then the total carbohydrates under 15. And so, and ideally you can choose either a whey-based protein or you can do a combination plant-based protein. The only thing that I encourage you not to do is soy. I'm not a big fan of, I had already talked about this, so I encourage you not to do soy protein powders just because of the inflammation that it causes and the increase in estrogen levels. So these are the baseline guidelines for the protein drink. So with whey-based protein, this is from milk. It comes from milk. And so there is honestly a plethora of items out there. And honestly, I don't care which one you choose as long as it follows the guidelines that we just went over. Now, if you're having gastric bypass, you can't read it, but this one over here, J. Robs, you see all these little bullets right here. One of them says lactose free. So remember, with gastric bypass, you're going to have lactose intolerant. And because whey is from milk, if you're gonna get a whey-based protein powder, you just have to make sure it says lactose free. This is for gastric bypass patients only. And then they have lots of flavors. And then you see Isopure. This one is like this one, you see it says vanilla. And then Isopure here. There's a couple of different things. So one, you see this, it says unflavored. What's really nice about the unflavored is you can add it to soups and, liquids that you wouldn't, your coffee, things you wouldn't necessarily normally want a flavor to it. So unflavored is always nice. And then the other thing you notice about this is it's an isolate. So just an isolate basically means it's a pure protein. And so we're not saying that you have to have that, but what you're going to find with an isolate, especially in the beginning, is there's less volume. So because it doesn't have all the additives that the other protein, the fillers. So basically they're considered fillers. So an isolate is going to be a much purer protein without all the fillers. So one scoop of an isolate might be equivalent to 2 scoops of, let's say, another protein. So because your stomach is so small, an isolate might be more beneficial as far as getting the entire protein in a timely manner. These two over here, the Undri and Celebrate, these two are actually specific. These were bariatric specific protein powders. So they're automatically going to be lactose free, which is really nice. Anything that's going to affect a bariatric patient, when you get a bariatric specific protein powder, they're going to have all of that, everything that basically you need. And not necessarily that you have to buy these, but, and what's nice about some of the Undri ones, as you can see, they have juice flavored ones, which is really nice. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Celebrate. You can see here it says ENS plus protein. Now, what I'm about to say is for sleeve patients only. This would only work with a sleeve patient because of gastric bypass, the loop, and the full duodenal switch. Your vitamins and minerals requirements are so much higher, but this particular protein powder is awesome for sleeve patients because this is all your protein and your vitamins all in one. So it has your calcium and so instead of drinking 2 protein shakes a day and having to do your 3 vitamins a day, if you get this specific protein drink, it has all your vitamins in it, so you don't have to buy additional vitamins. So that's nice. And it's Celebrate.com. It's a bariatric vitamin company. And then you would have to get the specific ENS plus protein. So that's an option for sleep patients that I think it makes it a little bit easier, especially in the beginning because your pouch is so tiny. So like I said, these are just a couple of the multitude of different options that you guys have as far as protein drinks. And then you have plant-based proteins. And so one that's really popular, you can buy it at most stores, is the Orgain. And I like the one that has the superfoods in it. So you can see it's got 21 grams of protein. And this one, a lot of times your plant-based proteins do have higher fiber content. Like this one has 5, so that's okay. But I like it because it has the extra superfoods. And Orgain has a bunch of different options, but the plant-based one with the superfoods, because you can't do a lot of fruits and vegetables in the beginning. So it basically has some fruits and greens added to it, which is really nice. And then again, just another plant-based protein. These two on the right-hand side, these two are my absolute favorite. And the 2 that I use, especially Kachava. I love this one, but these are for more like 6 months down the road, and mainly just because of the fiber content. I don't know right offhand, but they're both very high in fiber. I want to say they have like 9 grams of fiber. So they would not fall within the category of the initial 6 months, but down the road, once your stomach's relaxed a bit and you can handle a higher fiber diet, especially Kachava, this one actually has a probiotic in it. It has your fruits and greens. It has a lot of your superfoods. And so it's actually considered an actual meal replacement, where these ones over here are protein supplements. Because this is all inclusive and it has so much in it, it's an entire meal replacement. So really love this product, and just something to keep in mind for farther down the road, like when you're 6 months down the road, because it still goes back to what I've been saying this entire time, is your intake is so minimal. So if you're going to drink something, why not get something that has your fruits, your greens, your probiotic, your protein, your fiber? You know, you want to get as much as you can in the smallest amount of space. So these 2 right here are very high quality proteins. And I mean, for the beginning, one of my favorites for right after surgery, if you do want to do a plant-based protein, is Orgain. I really like that protein a lot, and it's pretty cost effective as well. And then you have pre-made whey-based protein drinks. And so Um, again, same guidelines. I actually, when you first have surgery, I actually highly recommend that you either do a clear liquid protein or a pre-made liquid protein, because they're thinner. Like all of these protein shakes are about 11 ounces. I think they're 11 ounces. I know the Premier is. And so when I talk to most patients, it's taking them anywhere between 2 to 4 hours to get one of these down. And so, where when you do the powders, they're thicker. And so they have more volume, and then it's just that much harder to get them down. So I definitely would stick to either pre-made or clear liquids in the beginning. And then obviously if you're having the loop, the standard duodenal switch or the distal revision, you really want to stick to drinks that have between the 30 and the 40 grams. And you will have to do 1 to 1, like if you do the 40, like Core Protein by Fairlife Milk, this one has 42 grams of protein, you would have to do like 1.5 a day, just because your protein requirements are 100, right? So, and remember, you're only getting 20 to 30 from food. So if you bought a 20-gram protein drink, it wouldn't work for the loop, the DS, and the distal revision, just because of your requirements. And then also I wanted to show this too, Orgain. So Orgain offers both plant-based and whey-based protein. So you have to make sure if you're buying Orgain, you can't just assume it's plant-based or it's whey-based. So especially with my gastric bypass patients, if you do buy the Orgain, you want to make sure, I'm pretty sure that their whey-based is lactose-free. Actually, I'm almost positive. So you just want to make sure you're reading your labels. And then of course, pre-made, the plant-based proteins. I've tasted all of these. I love all of these drinks. And you notice with the plant-based Orgain, it's a little bit less in protein, right? It's only got 20 grams, where the whey-based one over here was, the whey-based one is 25 grams, but either or, whatever your preference is. And it's very rare you'll see a plant-based protein above 20, 22 grams of protein. So you're going to notice these are all 20 grams of protein. And you can see this one's got 4 grams of fiber in it. So these are all ones that are a lower fiber content, under the 5 grams. And then clear liquids. So a lot of people don't want that milky based taste. And so if you don't like that, or if, let's say, you're the person that really likes juice in the morning, then you would do better with a clear liquid protein. And so there's a bunch of different options out there. You have the Premier Clear, that's 20 grams of protein and multitudes of flavors, which is really nice. And then Isopure, this one is actually 40 grams of protein, but it's fairly large in volume. But this one you can buy at GNC, I think. My favorite is VitaFusion. Love this product. This one it's a combination of whey and collagen, and it does, you've heard me talk prior in the webinar about my, kind of my thoughts about sugar-free products. And so this does not use the sugar-free substitutes, which I really like, and the volume. So this little shot glass is 16 ounces of protein. So definitely, obviously you would do it multiple times a day. So 2 ounces is going to be 16 grams of protein, and they're juice flavored. I haven't tried the berry, but the orange one tastes really good. It tastes very similar to orange juice. And so you can do a lot with that too, just to add it to other things, to maybe even taste it like Fairlife milk. You could take that and add it to Fairlife milk and it would taste like a creamsicle. So you can do a lot of fun things with this, but just what it has in it and also the volume. This is a great product for any bariatric patients to start with. And I haven't seen it in stores, so you would have to order it online. You could go to vitalfuel.com, or I'm pretty sure Amazon sells it as well. And then the Liquicell is very similar to the VitaFuel, and really the only, I mean, everything's very the same. The difference is so they're both a combination of whey-based and collagen. So going back to the whey-based, VitaFuel uses actually, oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. Oh my gosh, like a pure protein. So I'm like, I have to show you here. So, oh yeah, they isolate. Gosh, I'm so sorry. My mind just went blank there. But so the VitaFuel uses the whey-based piece of it is an isolate. So it has multitude of, so when you look at a protein, what you're looking at is like when it breaks down into amino acids. And so an isolate is going to have a multitude of different amino acids, and obviously the more the better. Where Liquicell just has one amino acid, so that's one difference. It's not an isolate, and it only provides one amino acid. And then the other difference is this one doesn't use sugar substitutes, and this one does. So, but both, again, it just depends on your preference. The basic guidelines, they both do the same, but again, another option is clear liquid proteins. And so really, you know, you can talk to people. I will tell you a few things, like the Premier is definitely really popular as far as the pre-made proteins. Patients seem to really like these, and you can see there's so many different flavors. And what I like about the Premier, like the Premier, this one right here is caramel. And they also have a mocha. I think it might be this one right here, coffee mocha flavored. But the caramel is a very sweet one. It's almost too sweet to drink by itself, but it's great to add to your coffee. So a lot of you guys are coffee drinkers in the morning, and you, once you're 4 weeks out and you can easily get your liquids in, you can bring coffee back in. So a great way to flavor your coffee is to make your own coffee drink in the morning and just add the Premier drink to it. Actually, that's something that I do as well. So that's it for protein. You want it to be between 20 and 40 grams of protein, less than 5 grams of sugar, less than 5 grams of fiber, and less than 15 grams of total carbohydrates. Those are the basic guidelines. As long as it follows those 4 basic guidelines, you can have whatever protein that you're able to keep down, and something that's good, that you enjoy, something that you like. So play around with different drinks and see what works for you. You want to make sure you have a protein drink ready to go, or multiple protein drinks. You might start with the VitaFuel and then work your way up to, you know, either a plant-based protein or a liquid whey-based protein, and then eventually get to your powders down the road.